this table, but remember that these arteries, the superior mesenteric is going in this way, the right lower quadrant. And this guy technically is going to go this way to the left lower quadrant. So even though we're seeing a little bit of go right down the middle, don't let that confuse you, okay? All right, so now we got the celiac trunk. Let's go ahead and let's give it a nice little color. And we'll go ahead and we'll tag it. And do you remember what our three branches that come off of that were?
Left gastric.
So left gastric, and then yeah. So left gastric, the splenic artery, and then our common hepatic artery, right? So we have them right through there. Let's go ahead and let's give them a little color. So the common hepatic is right through there. We'll give it a nice little bright green color. Now remember, the common hepatic is going to change names as soon as what happens? It branches. So what branch causes it to change names? Do you remember? And now it changes into the proper, but what comes off of it that makes it change name?
Gastric, right gastric.
Yeah, that gastroduodenal is what we're gonna see, okay? So celiac trunk right through here, right? Nice big thing in the middle. We said we're gonna have that nice left gastric go this way. We'd have a piggy tail that's gonna go to the spleen. And then we said going towards the side with the liver, we're gonna have that common hepatic artery. We said that off of that, we would get that nice little gastroduodenal artery. That was gonna then divide and give us what? Superior pancreaticoduodenal
And right gastric.
and right gastroepiploic artery. Okay. So let's go ahead and add that gastroduodenal. Right there. Okay. So we see it here. It doesn't look as nice and neat as it does on the drawing or as it did on the models, right? So it's a little bit messier on the tables, and you're going to find that that's just kind of the way it is. So remember, the gastroomental is going to be going along the greater curvature of the stomach, right? So since it's going along with the greater curvature of the stomach, it's going to be a little bit lower than where we saw this left gastric, right? Let's go ahead and add in the proper hepatic artery. Okay, so the proper hepatic artery is going to continue. And we're going to see coming off that proper hepatic artery, that right gastric artery. So we can see that happening right through there. So we turn it sideways a little bit, kind of get some depth. We can start seeing kind of the lesser curvature of the stomach, right where we see the artery. Let's change its color to peach color and tag it through there. Now we set off the splenic artery, we were going to get what? You remember coming off the splenic artery, we had a branch that came over and joined together with this?
Left gastro.
Yeah, that's right, that left gastroepiploic artery. So let's add that on. So we can see that now. Now, let's go ahead and add the stomach onto it just so that we can see where the stomach is in relationship to these blood vessels. So along the lesser curvature of the stomach, okay, on the side where we would see that lower esophageal sphincter, we see the left gastric artery. But remember, as we kind of come to the side where we would see the pylorus, that's where we're going to find that right gastric artery. Now, same thing for the left and right gastroepiploic, right? So here, on the greater curvature of the stomach, we find that gastroepiploic. And remember, if you want to, you can call it the gastroomental, doesn't really matter. And then on the side where we would find the fundus would be up here, but on that side is where we find that left gastroepiploic artery. And I also said that's how I would tag it, right? To try to keep everything straightforward and simple. As straightforward as it can be. Now we know that that proper hepatic artery is going to continue trucking, right? We're going to get our hepatic artery, meaning our right and left hepatic artery. And we're going to get our cystic artery coming off the right. So if we take the right hepatic artery, get that color, tag it, we look just below it, we can see that we have our cystic. And the cystic artery is going to be found going to what structure?
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder, perfect. Thank you. So if I were to add in the liver, unfortunately it would clog everything up and we wouldn't see those two vessels, so I kinda have to leave it off. Now remember, there's one last branch that we wanna see, which is that superior pancreatico-duodenal artery. And if you look on the table right under the gastroduodenal, you see lots of choices for those pancreatico-duodenal arteries. What I'm gonna suggest you do is just find the anterior superior pancreatico-duodenal artery and put that on there. But remember, on test day, all you have to tell me is pancreatico-duodenal artery, or excuse me, superior pancreatico-duodenal artery. Okay?
So if you had one in there, it would be that one for the test?
Yeah, from the table,
Okay.
yeah. Everybody okay with the celiac branches? Or at least you can kind of see it and visualize it. You're gonna have to draw it a few times, you're gonna have to build it a few times on the anatomized table, get comfortable with it. Remember that as we look at the base of the celiac trunk, we're also gonna see the stuff here, that ganglia. So it's kind of deep. Let me see if I can highlight it for us. With a nice bright yellow color, just indicating that neurological tissue. Remember the big bulges that we see? These big bulges that we see right through there? That is the ganglia itself, and then remember the spider web looking stuff here? That's the plexus. Now on test day, I really don't care which one you pick. So if I tag that and you call it the celiac plexus, I'll take that. Okay, if you tag it and you call it the celiac ganglia, okay, I'll take it. Technically you might be wrong, but it's close enough, right? All this stuff is just right there together. And on your list, it just kind of says them all together too. Any questions about that celiac stuff through there? Everybody feeling okay with that? No? That's good. Let's keep moving then. Okay, let's go through and get rid of our digestive arteries, and when I do that, it gets rid of all the stuff that we just added, but if I wanted to add it all back on, all I have to do is hit that. Now unfortunately it pulls everything back up with it. So we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna go through and we're gonna do our superior mesenteric.